I'll tell you something about the first 100 days. The most remarkable thing was not anything Donald Trump did. The most remarkable thing is what you all did across this country, here in Maine and across America. Because you know what, folks? January 20th was an important day, but January 21st was far more important. Millions of Americans, led by women, came out and said, Donald Trump, you do not stand for our values. Donald Trump, you did not win this election. You did not win the popular vote. And Donald Trump, we will continue to resist. And resist you have done. And the work on the Affordable Care Act is perhaps the best example, because you have seen the potential devastation of the Affordable Care Act repeal here in Maine. Think about it. Just a few weeks ago, they were writing the obituary for the Affordable Care Act. And you know why that obituary didn't get published? Because of you, everyone in this room, going to members of Congress, telling their stories. And I'll tell you, folks, some of those stories are tragic. Stories like Christina Emard, a 28-year-old decorated Army veteran from Lebanon, Maine, roughly an hour from here. She suffered from PTSD, and when she became addicted to opioids, she needed help, and she died from an overdose last September. She had sacrificed more for our country in her short life than Donald Trump ever will, any day, anyhow. And to think of it, my friends, to think of it, you know, Donald Trump and the Republicans want to do away with it. And here's what I don't understand about Donald Trump and the Affordable Care Act. You know what, folks? He wants to brand everything. You know, you can go to the store and find Trump steaks. You know, Trump steak knives, Trump ties, Trump suits, you know, the Trump hotel. But he didn't want the Affordable Care Act branded after him. I don't know what to call it. Trump Care, Ryan Care. I'll tell you what I'd call it. I don't care, because those Republican leaders and President Trump don't give a shit about the people they were trying to hurt. That's what I say.
You know, the saddest and the most depressing feeling that I had watching that, a lot of people did come together and protest and go to those speaking engagements and everything else for the Affordable Care Act. I mean, think about what I'm saying. It's not, in other countries around the world, for the most part, those people are sane enough to say, look, medical expenses are massive. They can be completely debilitating, and as a society, it's cheaper if we can come together and make choices to figure out how we're going to cover everybody. That's sane, that's sensible, that's what most countries do. Obama came in and said, we want to keep health insurance companies. Again, we don't question the system, we only question the excesses. So health insurance companies that's leeching out 30% profits, that's fucking awesome. That's okay. That's okay. How are you going to constrain costs? If you have a profit-making enterprise that's not adding any value to the process and is literally just leeching money out of the process, that's literally what it's doing. In that particular instance, forcing, and even beyond that, forcing people to end up buying health insurance from a private entity. Any thought of a public option swept off the table right off the bat. It was mentioned, it was swept off the table. He even joked Hillary Clinton about the mandate, saying how, you know, she's crazy for trying to install a mandate, after which case, when he got in office, he did the exact same thing and put in a mandate. This stuff was amazing. This idea that people are fighting for a right-wing healthcare plan that doesn't even cover everybody is astonishingly and sad. It's absolutely sad. Yeah, I didn't realize how sad it was until Tom Perez just got out here and said that. Because he's right. All those people have been marshaling their energies and everything else. And it's like they're fighting to hold on to table scrap. That's what it feels like. And I get it. It's better than what it was before. So don't misunderstand me. But it's like, why is the best outcome always out of reach? Single payer, sensible, sane, cheaper. Get rid of those leeches in the insurance market. I mean, some of this stuff is just common sense if you're trying to lower costs and provide better service. That's off the table. Instead, we have people pushing and fighting and yelling and screaming for a right-wing healthcare plan that still leaves millions of people off the record. It was going up by 50% in some states 6 years after it was passed. Put it in context. It's a goddamn shame.